Welcome back to the Builders Bench. I'm Craig Larkins, and joining me today on the bench is Rod Gilbert, President of the Canadian Construction Association. Rod, welcome back to the bench.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back. It's been a long time.
It's been a couple of months, yes, and it's a busy couple of months ahead of us as well. You know, we're heading into the fall season. Parliament has resumed. You did a great article in the Hill Times last week, an opinion piece. If you haven't a chance to check it out, please do so. It points out a lot of factors when we're talking nation building. The governments, they've announced new agencies, new acronyms, new policies. There's a lot of factors at play here. So first question being, do they fully understand what it takes to build a nation when they're saying nation building?
I think the Prime Minister is understanding it. I think we've been very encouraged by all these lists. This has been very positive. I think the biggest challenge, Craig, to be honest, we are dealing right now with a Prime Minister with a building mindset. You know what he says, like, build, baby, build. I think he really means it. And that's exciting for us. But the problem is he is working with the same machine. Like, none of these people change. I'd use the word like they used to work under the Trudeau government when everyone was like, just like picture and like unicorn and all that stuff. Now the Prime Minister wants them to get to work. And I think that's the biggest challenge we're seeing right now. And I have done an example about that, but I'm optimistic. I think we're getting there.
Well, it's great to see. I mean, even during the election, all the attention that was put on construction, and it's carried over into the provinces, even the municipalities. I mean, Vancouver has a municipal election next year, and that conversation we're hoping to continue in that sense. So what's the one or two moves that would really prove it or really put things into action that we need to see when we're talking build, baby, build?
So I think, and I talked about that earlier, I think really the alignment with, and you mentioned it, like provinces and municipalities, a lot of them going to election next year. It really they all need to talk, because you can put all the money you want and go to government, like they're playing a role in the financing, like for the housing crisis, all these nation buildings project, the major projects, all this is good. But if the province and municipality don't follow, like it goes nowhere. So I think that's the first challenge. It's really to have them all talking together. And we're seeing change, Craig, I have to say. More and more, I think municipalities are stepping up a bit everywhere in Canada and changing their permitting process, like accelerating how we build things, recognizing the fact that we need that housing infrastructure to support that housing crisis. And not only that, like, I think we're seeing changes in the way, because as you know, in Canada, we have what I call not in my backyard really easy in Canada. I think we're seeing the change slowly, that people say, you know what, we need this project, let's do it home with our people and make sure it's being built. So I think I'm optimistic, but there's caveat to that, if I may. The federal government, and I'm sure you've seen it, and the major announcement about national defense and meeting our targets with NATO and the all that negotiation with the US, it's all part of it. Having that, playing a role in the world and stuff like that. So the government, it's committed, and kudos to Prime Minister Carney. The government's committed to that investment, but there's challenges in front of them, and it's not political challenges. It's a machine challenges. Let me give you an example. They want to build all these new military bases and facilities, upgrading what we have. And in the same time, Craig, right now, the security clearance process in Canada is a complete mess. It's bad enough. It takes so long. And I'm not, like, it's so bad, Craig, that right now, I think that the security clearance process in Canada is putting the military investment at risk in Canada. And wow. And it's not a political issue. So as I say, it's not sexy. It's not something you're taking picture with. It's a machinery problem. Mm-hmm. And the government, mostly PSPC, okay, I have to say, like Public Service and Procurement Canada, they're not taking us seriously. They don't want to fix the problems. They seem to put that away. And honestly, I was in a meeting with the National Defense few weeks back in a different organization. And even then, within the government, is challenging them to do better. And I don't think they will. So I'm telling you, that's one of the challenges. Second challenges, it's still, and I think you want to go there, it's workforce.
That was my next question.
Yeah, that's your next question. I'm sure, because we still have a workforce issue. People are still retiring. We're going to lose a lot of good workers everywhere in Canada. It's true in BC, it's true in Alberta, it's true in Atlantic provinces, it's true everywhere. So government needs to invest more into skill trade. they need to invest more in training. And when I say that, when you create like major project in Canada, you tend to add like different policy that could go against what you're trying to do, like project labor agreement. I know you've had that in BC, and it was not as successful as the name. And I know it's been talked to at the federal level too. You don't want to be that, because we need to understand that in Canada, only 29% of the construction industry is unionized. So when you put policy in place that leave behind more than 1 million workers in the industry,
Mhm.
that's a lot of people that will not be able to work on federal projects. So, and same with training. I think there's a lot more, and your organization at VRCA and everywhere in Canada, we've done a good job. And I've seen your post last week, what you've done to bring trade to school or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just awesome. You guys are doing good jobs. We need to train more people, and I think people wants to be trained, but we need to be inclusive, and really provide that services for everyone.
And you had mentioned in the article and just so in past discussions, the recognition of foreign credentials. It's another kind of that pipeline to addressing the labor shortage.
Absolutely. And also, and again, there, remember like a few months back when we tried to even just interprovincial, like recognition, the credential, and how many times you've seen like people with credential coming to Canada, in Canada for 2, 3 years, and driving a taxi or a Uber or Lyft.
The
And again,
survival
it's
jobs.
survival job, and they're skilled, trained, and willing to do something else, but they just can't because it's an issue. So that's really something we have to all together work on, and that's something that we need to step up. But I feel that we're getting somewhere. The other part of that discussion and talking about immigration is we've made a lot of progress on that. I think the government was understanding that we need to bring the right people for the right job, attracting the right skill trade in Canada. And I'm sure I mentioned that to you, but between 2015 and I think 2022, if I remember the number, I think we brought only 6,000 skilled trade worker to that kind of flow program. That's a major problem. So now we really need to change the pointing system. We were making a lot of progress with the government. I think their understanding was there. All the provinces were on board a bit on that, adapting the system. And then we've been told 2, 3 weeks ago by the immigration minister that it's tough, it's political. She's not sure she wants to go there. So for us, that's a step backwards, and we need to
Mhm.
take step forward instead.
That's almost like hitting the brakes on a program that was working and, there was some positivity to it, right?
Exactly. So we'll see
So
how it goes.
as associations and I guess as industry, how can we take part in really putting a bigger spotlight on that? We keep talking about projects and we keep talking about these new agencies, and as associations, how do we put a brighter light on that?
First of all, we need to talk to our members to explain it. All this is good news. Okay, there's no bad news there, and we have to explain to our members the future is bright, and they need to be part of the future. They need to play a role into it. They need to look at the future projects that are coming, and if they see any kind of issues of hurdle that would stop them of being part of that future and building that great country that we want to build, they should raise it with you. They should raise it with me. They should raise it with their provincial counterpart. We should be part of the discussion. And honestly, last week when I wrote that op-ed, Craig, that's what it was. Like, government can plan to do whatever they want. At the end, we, and not you and me, let's be honest here, but we as an industry are the one that would build that. We know how to do it. We want to get it right. So they have to talk to us. That's our message.
And there's so many other factors, like you said, that are at play here. Not even just the boots on the ground building. It's the supply chain pressure. We have tariffs by Canadian rules. What's hitting builders hardest right now when you look at kind of that bigger picture in those kind of that scenario?
Supply chain, definitely an issue. That being said, though, when you look at last Mark Carney's meeting with Donald Trump, they seem to be buddy-buddy. So I guess it looks better. But supply
Yeah.
chain is an issue. The price of construction is still going up depending which region you are. Like, some regions are more affected than others, but that's still an issue. And you mentioned, so as you want to build all these projects, like you want to create all these opportunities, don't create policy that goes against these major
Yeah.
projects. Like, uh, and I want to be very clear here. Like, I'm all about using Canadian people, Canadian material, Canadian steel, softwood, everything from Canada. I think that's the right thing to do. But sometimes the supply chain is just not there. Our trade infrastructure is just not equipped to transport all this. And we need to be aware that at the end, it's the taxpayers that's going to fit the bill. And if you pay 30% more for all these major projects, that means you can do 30% less project at the end of the road. And that's not what we want. What we want to do better. We want to do more because we need it. As simple as that.
Do better, do more, and on time, so there's no delays with the cost of delays as well.
Exactly.
So you have a big event coming up in about a month's time. You're heading to Parliament for the annual CCA Hill Day, 100 industry leaders. What's the elevator pit?
They cannot do it without us. It's simple as that. And just remember, it's the first Hill Day since the new Parliament. There's a lot of new MPs, a lot of new ministers, a lot of new staffers. Half of the battle today on that day is going to be education, explaining who we are, what we do, how we do things. And the other half is like, you want to do all this, you need us. And this is how, as an industry, we can help you. This is how we can do all together better. And that's the pitch. It's simple as that. You know, it's surprising. And you've been to Hill Day before, Craig. You've seen it before. It's surprising when you meet an MP sometimes. They had no clue. They have no idea who we are, what we do, where we're coming from. And I always use a journey, like you wake up in the morning, you're in the house that we built. You use the transport that we built. We're standing in a meeting room now today that we built. And when they think about it, it's all true. So I think that's part of it. And Hill Day, it's about, we want to work with you because where you want to go, we want to go with you too. So it's all this.
It's interesting, you know, in one tagline, it always sticks with me. It all starts with construction. I mean, your schools, your hospitals, the malls that you go shopping at. It's a nice reminder for them. So I guess not a final question, but when all is revealed, you know, we're kind of in that waiting game. You know, the MPO office is open, the new Defense Investment Agency, all these acronyms, all these offices. When all is revealed and, you know, the budget's revealed in November, if the government doesn't really have a plan, what's the next step for CCA? What's the next step for industry?
So for us, first of all, I'm fairly optimistic they will have a plan. There have been
fingers crossed. We do too.
Yeah, I think, and not that I can share, but I think they have that vision now, that like more 20, 25 years plan. National Defense, just for information, on November 13, we're doing a full industry day with National Defense and Defense Construction Canada, where they're basically going to tell us, this is the future of the money we want to invest with you. First time ever. So I think the plan is coming together. So after that, CCA, it's making sure that that's what they're trying to do makes sense on the practical way. It makes sense that on the day that we start the project, we're not going to be delayed. We're not going to face any kind of hurdle created by policy decision by Canada, PLA, stuff like that, that would put delays to the project, something that we don't need. So that's really our next step after. And I think we've been very good the last few years working with a local, educating owners, public owners, and private. Now I think we work more and more with private owners to make sure that when we start the project, we're all on the same page.
I think the last election really was a great moment to kind of restart and reinvigorate the process and really that construction brought to light. So any final remarks, Rod?
I would just say, like, I'm optimistic, Craig. I think the future is bright of our industry. And I can feel it, the excitement every time I meet our members. Everyone is excited, curious about what the future holds and what's coming. We just need to work together. I think as a CCA, as a national organization, we are open to work with everyone, all the partners, all our stakeholders, because right now we need to, as Canadian, to work together. And I think the future is very bright for us.
All right. So coming up, actually, Rod, on the next Builder Bench, the federal budget drops on November 4th. So we're going to be breaking it down. Louis-Philippe Champagne from the CCA. We're going to do a pre-budget and post-budget episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks. You definitely want to go tune on that. Thank you so much, Rod, for joining us on the bench today. Rod Gilbert is the president of the Canadian Construction Association. You can catch past episodes of the Builder's Bench on vrca.ca.